So I'm Denise here at the Garrison Institute, and really pleased to welcome Rasmus Hougaard and Jacqueline Carter from the Potential Project. And my understanding is you've been around for 8 years, but this is your new launch in North America, and you've developed corporate-based mindfulness training for corporate cultures. Is that right? And this is your first teacher training here at the Garrison Institute in North America.
It is, yes.
That's wonderful. Well, welcome. I guess my first question to you would just be, what inspired you to get involved with the Potential Project, and and how is it going? How is that work emerging around the world?
The whole thing started 8 years ago, and I have a long background with meditation, also have a research background, and been working in the corporate world for a number of years. And just realizing that the way people were working from a mental point of view created more problems for themselves than it needed to be. And I decided at some point to bring together meditation and busy work life. Brought together some researchers, some of my own teachers, and some business leaders. And during some years we developed this program, Corporate-Based Mindfulness Training, and launched it in the first organization in Denmark. And it was a big success, and the rumors spread, and here we are some years later and in 20 countries with some 80 trainers, I think. Yeah, so it was really the intention of bringing more mental peace, but also mental effectiveness to people working in organizations, because can be a difficult environment to be in.
Yeah. Well, that leads me to my second question, which is here at the Garrison Institute, the heart of our mission is to apply the wisdom that flows from contemplative practice for personal change and social change. And there's so much research now, and there's so much in the news about the benefits to individuals when they do mindfulness meditation. And so I'm hoping that you can just say a little more about that bridge between how personal change leads to social change, and maybe how you see it affecting teams or corporate cultures.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll talk about my background and how I got introduced to the Potential Project, because my specialization is organizational change, and I've been working for the last 20 years in a number of different countries, including here in the United States, as well as in Canada and Australia and Singapore, working with organizations to help navigate those stormy waters of change. And what I found to be so important in terms of looking at corporate cultures was that it's very difficult to manage change if people don't have stillness inside, if they can't be focused, if they can't be present. And when I met Rasmus and found the Potential Project, to me it was that opportunity to really bring that social change. So many people have perhaps an individual practice that they find to be very beneficial, but how do we take that into a team? How do we make sure that in a meeting we all have the ability to really be present, or when we're dealing something that's complex, in terms of organizational change, or whether it's any aspect of organizational life, to actually bring the wisdom from the contemplative practices into environments where it can be really beneficial to help us work more effectively together to achieve the results that we want to achieve in a way that respects the needs of individuals to be able to be present, to be able to be calm and clear-minded. So for me, it's very powerful to bring that into teams and into work life.
And I think that link between the individual and the social, the collective, is very obvious. We see it all the time when a group of people in the same department or the same organization actually takes time every day to sit down for 10 minutes together. And we do this with organizations like McKinsey and American Express, General Electric. So normal people in work life, they sit down like this, and they are trained in how to conduct meetings, do their emails with this mindful mind, that they start to take this pause before they act, before they speak, and thereby allow some of the wisdom that we all have to come forth. So it starts as an individual thing, but it becomes a very collective, very social thing, and it starts to change the culture, the way of working, that there's more, we find more wisdom, more stillness, as you would say. It's just better decisions coming out of it.
And that bridges actually to my next question, which is the heart of contemplative teachings over time have included not only mind training and attentional training, and like we said, there's many other benefits like stress reduction for the individual. But there's a deep grounding in compassion and in ethics. So I'm wondering how you feel about how does that enter into your program, or do you think it's appropriate in one way or another to either foster or train around compassion and ethics from that traditional kind of viewpoint?
Absolutely, and I think it's inevitable. I don't think you can train real mindfulness without implicitly training ethics, for the reason that you can't live an unethical life and do mindfulness practice. You can't live an ethical life if you don't have a mindfulness practice, because mindfulness practice is what helps you to do the right things. On the other hand, you can't have a good mindfulness practice without living the ethical life. So to me, those two are like woven together. So it's implicit in the program, but we also do emphasize it directly. We have some specific mental strategies, as we call them, like kindness and non-judging, which is really about developing that attitude of, can I be of benefit for you today in one or the other way, then I'm going to be that. So in our mind, probably also because we come from the tradition we come from in contemplative practices, it has to be part of it. You can't do without. Just attentional training or just stress reduction, it's not enough.
Can you share a specific story of how the Potential Project's work has changed someone's life, and what specifically about mindfulness practice changed them? So just wondering if there's any story or any inspirational story that pops to mind when I ask that question.
I would say probably one that really jumps out for me. I had the opportunity, we've actually had our programs have been researched by third-party researchers, and researchers including one from Cambridge University, and I was actually in a kind of a bizarre form to be talking about mindfulness, but one of our big projects in Europe was actually at Carlsberg, and the researcher was presenting the results, and he was very German and was presenting, the stats, and they were all very good, 15% increase in focus attention and 7% increase in awareness, internal and external, and all of these great results. And it was really very positive. And it was actually being presented to the executives, and they were looking at, whether they were going to take it forward based on the information and the results that had been found. And it was all looking really great. And this one individual stood up, and he said to the professor, he said, "Thank you very much. I'm very happy for you. Your results are all good. Your charts are all going in the right direction, and it all looks fantastic." And then he turned to the executives and he said, "But if you really want to understand the benefits of this program, go ask my kids, because they will tell you that Daddy was able to come home and actually let go of work and truly be present with them." And I thought, that's good work today. That's good work. So for me, that's a really inspirational story.
Well, and that beautifully illustrates, again, the connection between personal practice and change and experience, and then how it's taken back into the family and into groups. So, well, thank you. Is there anything else more you'd like to say? We're so thrilled to have you here and hope to be a home base for you in the future.
Well, I just want to say thank you. The Garrison Institute has been such a fantastic forum for us, a fantastic environment, and I think the goals and objectives that you try to achieve in terms of creating a place that's safe, it doesn't feel too extreme on one of the other ends of the spectrum. For us, it was just a perfect environment for us to launch in North America, and we've just been treated so well. And everybody from the people that are cleaning the rooms to welcoming us at the front door have just been filled with compassion in the spirit of this institute, and so it's really been a pleasure to be here. So thank you so much.
And we will come back and lead retreats for anyone, not just teachers.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.